Imagine standing on the biggest stage lights, blinding millions watching, and you're just a teenager. This isn't just a story about winning matches. It's about defying expectations, carrying immense pressure with grace, and inspiring a generation. Long before you're even old enough to vote, get ready to uncover the true narrative of a sports phenomenon, whose journey is far more complex and captivating than any highlight reel could ever show. Imagine standing on the biggest stage lights, blinding millions watching, and you're just a teenager. This isn't just a story about winning matches. It's about defying expectations, carrying immense pressure with grace, and inspiring a generation. Long before you're even old enough to vote, get ready to uncover the true narrative of a sports phenomenon, whose journey is far more complex and captivating than any highlight reel could ever show. The world, it seems, has an insatiable appetite for the prodigy, especially in sports. Someone who bursts onto the scene with such raw, undeniable talent that they redefine what we thought was even possible. But let's be honest, behind every highlight reel, every triumphant roar echoing through an arena, every moment of televised glory, there's always an unseen journey, a narrative far more intricate, deeply human, and profoundly challenging than any casual observer could ever truly grasp. This, my friends, is the profound, exhilarating, and often intensely solitary story of Coco Gauff, a young athlete who didn't just quietly enter the world of professional tennis. No, she erupted into it, shaking its very foundations with a powerful serve and an even more formidable spirit, sending shockwaves through the established order of the game. It begins, as so many truly great stories do, with a tiny seed of incredible potential, planted very early on. For Coco Gauff, that precious seed was meticulously watered by a childhood steeped in athletic excellence, yes, but more importantly, a profound and genuine love for the game itself, a love that sparkled in her eyes from the earliest days. From the very first moment she picked up a racket, it was never merely about mechanically hitting a fuzzy yellow ball over a net. It was about an almost intuitive intrinsic connection to the subtle rhythm of the game, a nascent instinctive understanding of complex angles and spins, and an unshakable burning competitive fire that radiated brightly even in her earliest, most innocent days. On the court, her parents, both athletes themselves with deep roots in sports, were wise enough to recognize this extraordinary spark, and critically, they didn't push her relentlessly into some predetermined path. Instead, they gently yet consistently nurtured her authentic, burgeoning passion, thoughtfully allowing her to fully explore the sheer joy of movement, the thrill of competition, and the boundless freedom found within the sport. Her formative years, surprisingly, weren't spent in some claustrophobic bubble of relentless, isolated drills alone. They were a meticulously orchestrated, careful balance of rigorous physical and technical training, consistent academic pursuit to stimulate her mind, and a conscious effort to maintain a semblance of a normal, well-rounded childhood. A delicate, almost precarious tightrope walk that many young talents unfortunately struggle to navigate with grace. You see, she didn't just possess undeniable physical gifts, which she certainly did. She also had an innate, almost preternatural mental fortitude, a truly rare maturity that allowed her to absorb complex coaching instructions with remarkable ease, learn deeply and quickly from every single mistake, and perpetually strive for incremental, consistent improvement. Brick by painstaking brick, this robust foundation, forged through diligent effort and unwavering commitment, was the solid bedrock upon which her future, truly meteoric tour. She had to quickly learn to manage not just her incredibly powerful game, but her entire life under the unyielding glare of relentless public scrutiny. Losses, which are an absolutely inevitable fundamental part of any athlete's journey, suddenly felt painfully magnified, dissected ad nauseum by pundits and fans alike, fueling doubts and criticisms that would sting anyone, let alone a teenager still finding her precarious footing in the adult world. The mental game then became absolutely paramount. How, one might ask, do you effectively silence the cacophony of external noise and the often insidious internal chatter of self-doubt? How do you fiercely maintain self-belief when the entire world seems to question your every single move, your every decision? Coco Gauff, with astonishing wisdom for her years, developed a powerful, incredibly effective coping mechanism. An unwavering, laser-like focus on process over outcome. She understood intrinsically that true success wasn't merely about triumphantly winning trophies or garnering accolades, but profoundly about continuous incremental improvement, about learning deeply from every single mistake, about courageously embracing the struggle as an utterly essential refining part of growth, a necessary crucible for forging true character. She wisely surrounded herself with a tight-knit, incredibly supportive team, a true sanctuary of unwavering trust and profound support that allowed her to remain remarkably grounded amidst the dizzying, often disorienting heights of her burgeoning fame. Her ever-present parents, her dedicated coaches, and her sagacious mentors provided a crucial buffer, tirelessly protecting her from the insidious threat of burnout and diligently ensuring she maintained a healthy, balanced perspective on life and her career. They instilled in her the timeless importance of resilience, of dusting herself off immediately after every single fall, and of seeing every challenge, no matter how daunting, as an invaluable opportunity to become exponentially stronger both as a player and as a person. This period of intense, rapid growth wasn't just about grueling physical training. It was a profound, transformative period of self-discovery. She was maturing not just as an astonishing tennis player, but crucially as a remarkable young woman with an increasingly powerful voice and a rapidly evolving understanding of her significant platform beyond the pristine white lines of the court. She began to powerfully speak out, eloquently using her burgeoning influence to advocate passionately for social justice, for profound equality, and for various causes she believed in deeply with conviction. This wasn't some performative act designed for optics. It was an authentic, heartfelt expression of her core values, a resounding testament to her formidable character. She seamlessly blended the fierce, unyielding competitor with the thoughtful, compassionate activist, powerfully demonstrating that athletes could be so much more than mere performers. They could be catalysts for meaningful, lasting change, inspiring a generation, not just with their athletic feats, but with their moral compass. Her game, too, continued its relentless, impressive evolution. What initially started as raw, undeniable power and electrifying athleticism began to visibly transform into a more nuanced, strategic, and sophisticated approach to the game. She meticulously honed her powerful ground strokes, elegantly refined her net game, and developed a serve that quickly became an incredibly potent, almost unreturnable weapon. Her fitness levels soared dramatically, allowing her to endure grueling multi-hour matches and consistently outlast even her toughest opponents. She brilliantly adapted her tactics to different playing surfaces, becoming a more complete, versatile, and unpredictable player. Every single season brought new, often daunting challenges, new formidable opponents, and new invaluable opportunities to test her unwavering resolve. There were inevitably periods of struggle, moments where the wins didn't come as easily, where the subtle doubts might have crept in, whispering insidious thoughts, but through it all her unwavering commitment to continuous improvement remained absolutely unshakable. She understood with remarkable clarity that true champions are never defined by never falling, but rather by how quickly, powerfully, and gracefully they rise after every single stumble. She learned to truly embrace the arduous grind, to cherish the smallest victories achieved in practice, and to implicitly trust her well-established process even when the immediate tangible results weren't readily apparent. Her entire journey became an unparalleled masterclass in unwavering perseverance, a vivid, compelling illustration of the long, arduous game required to achieve sustained, transcendent excellence. In recent years, Coco Gauff has continued to firmly cement her rightful place among the absolute elite of the sport, solidifying her status as a true contender. The Prodigy has undeniably blossomed into a powerhouse, demonstrating consistent, awe-inspiring excellence at the very highest levels of professional tennis. Her powerful, dominant performances have captured major titles not merely as moments of individual triumph, but as profound confirmations of her relentless dedication, her countless sacrifices, and her unwavering, resolute belief in her own boundless potential. These hard-fought victories were not just about the ceremonial act of lifting gleaming trophies. They were deeply about validating years of painstaking hard work, countless unseen sacrifices, and an unyielding, almost spiritual commitment to her craft, to her dream. Her profound impact, you see, extends far, far beyond the pristine boundaries of the tennis court. She has truly become a radiant beacon of inspiration for millions around the world, particularly for young girls and aspiring athletes who see in her not just a formidable champion, but a vibrant reflection of their own deepest dreams and highest possibilities. She embodies resilience, a startling maturity far beyond her tender years, and the sheer courage to speak her mind, to stand for what is right, making her a role model In the truest, most authentic sense of the word, her story serves as a powerful, resounding reminder that age is truly just a number, and that with enough burning passion, unyielding dedication, and unwavering self-belief, extraordinary achievements are well within anyone's reach no matter how young. The narrative of Coco Gauff is far from over. No, it is a continuously unfolding saga of relentless growth, formidable challenge, and triumphant perseverance. She continues to courageously push the very boundaries of her own potential, constantly striving for new unprecedented heights, knowing deep down that the journey itself is often as profoundly rewarding as any ultimate destination. Her path illuminates a profound, timeless truth: that true greatness is not merely about possessing innate talent, but profoundly about the relentless pursuit of self-improvement, the audacious courage to face adversity head-on, and the unwavering, unshakable commitment to one's most cherished dreams. So what profound lessons can we collectively learn from this truly remarkable journey? We learn that true lasting success is undeniably a marathon, never merely a sprint. We learn that immense pressure, while daunting and sometimes overwhelming, can actually be refining crucible for forging immense inner strength and resilience. We learn that an authentic voice and unwavering personal values are just as critically important as raw athletic prowess. And most importantly perhaps, we learn that the most captivating, inspiring stories are so often found not just in the glittering victories, but in the unseen battles fought in solitude, the quiet moments of unyielding dedication, and the unwavering spirit of those extraordinary individuals who dare to courageously chase their dreams against all odds, defying every expectation. Her story is a living testament to the indomitable power of the human spirit, a testament that continues to inspire, to redefine, and to elevate what it truly means to be a champion in our modern era. The incandescent flash of her Wimbledon debut, that singular moment which blasted Coco Gauff onto the global stage, was undeniably exhilarating, a dizzying ascent that transformed her from a promising junior into an overnight sensation in the blink of an eye. But as the initial euphoria settled, a far more profound and relentless challenge began to emerge: the arduous task of not just reaching the summit, but staying there, of navigating the treacherous terrain of consistent elite performance under an unblinking, unforgiving spotlight. The world, utterly captivated by her youthful brilliance, now expected victory relentlessly in every single outing, demanding a replication of that initial magic, an instant sustained reign. Yet professional tennis is a brutal, unforgiving crucible, a relentless gauntlet, where every match is a pitched battle, every opponent fiercely determined, and there are absolutely no guarantees of success. The immediate aftermath of her breakthrough morphed into a whirlwind that never truly ceased. Lucrative endorsements piled up, media obligations became a constant hum, the ceaseless travel across continents became her new normal, and the physically and mentally draining demands of the professional tour became an all-encompassing reality. She was forced to rapidly learn not just to master her incredibly powerful game, but to manage the entirety of her nascent adult life, all under the unyielding glare of public scrutiny that few teenagers ever experience. Every subtle shift in her expression, every stray word, every practice session became fodder for endless dissection by pundits and fans alike. Losses, an absolutely inevitable and fundamental part of any athlete's journey, suddenly felt painfully magnified, dissected ad nauseum, fueling a barrage of doubts and criticisms that would sting anyone, let alone a teenager still precariously finding her footing in an adult world. The mental game, already crucial now, became absolutely paramount, an existential battle. How indeed does one effectively silence the cacophony of external noise, roaring crowds, the buzzing social media, the harsh critiquescend, the often insidious internal chatter of self-doubt that inevitably whispers when results don't come easy? How does one fiercely maintain self-belief when the entire world seems to question your every move, your every decision? Coco Gauff, with astonishing wisdom and self-possession for her years, leaned even harder into the powerful, incredibly effective coping mechanism she had already begun to cultivate: an unwavering, laser-like focus on process over outcome. She understood with a clarity that belied her youth that true lasting success wasn't merely about triumphantly lifting gleaming trophies or garnering accolades. It was profoundly about the relentless pursuit of continuous incremental improvement, about learning deeply and constructively from every single mistake, about courageously embracing the struggle and the grind as an utterly essential refining part of growth, a necessary crucible for forging true character. Both on and off the court, her resilience wasn't just innate. It was meticulously cultivated. She actively and wisely surrounded herself with a tight-knit, incredibly supportive team. A true sanctuary of unwavering trust and profound support that allowed her to remain remarkably grounded amidst the dizzying, often disorienting heights of her burgeoning fame. Her ever-present parents, her dedicated coaches, and her sagacious mentors provided a crucial buffer, tirelessly protecting her from the insidious threat of burnout and diligently ensuring she maintained a healthy, balanced perspective on life. And her demanding career, they ceaselessly instilled in her the timeless importance of resilience, of dusting herself off immediately after every single fall, of seeing every challenge, no matter how daunting, as an invaluable opportunity to become exponentially stronger, both as a player and as a person. This period of intense, rapid growth wasn't merely about grueling physical training sessions. It was a profound, transformative period of self-discovery, of solidifying her identity beyond the confines of the tennis court. She was maturing not just as an astonishing tennis player, meticulously refining her powerful strokes and tactical acumen, but crucially as a remarkable young woman with an increasingly powerful voice and a rapidly evolving understanding of her significant platform. The internal battles were perhaps the most significant, the quiet struggles against the pressure to perform, the need to maintain authenticity amidst commercial demands, and the sheer mental fatigue of a relentless schedule. There were moments unseen by cameras where the weight felt immense, where the joy of the game threatened to be overshadowed by the business of it. But it was in these moments of quiet struggle that her character was truly forged. Beyond the pristine white lines of the court, she began to powerfully speak out, eloquently using her burgeoning influence to advocate passionately for social justice, for profound equality, and for various causes she believed in deeply with conviction. This wasn't some performative act designed for optics or public relations. It was an authentic, heartfelt expression of her core values, a resounding testament to her formidable character, and a deliberate choice to use her fame for a greater purpose. She seamlessly blended the fierce, unyielding competitor who battled tooth and nail for every point with the thoughtful, compassionate activist, powerfully demonstrating that athletes could be so much more than mere performers. They could be catalysts for meaningful, lasting change, inspiring a generation not just with their athletic feats, but with their unwavering moral compass. This commitment to causes beyond herself paradoxically provided a different kind of anchor, a sense of perspective that helped temper the often overwhelming pressures of her sporting career. It gave her a sense of purpose that transcended the win-loss column, allowing her to view her challenges on court as part of a larger, more significant journey. Her game, too, continued its relentless, impressive evolution, far from a static talent. What initially started as raw, undeniable power and electrifying athleticism began to visibly transform into a more nuanced, strategic, and sophisticated approach to the game, a testament to her insatiable appetite for improvement. She meticulously honed her powerful groundstrokes, turning them into precision instruments, elegantly refined her net game, adding finesse and touch to her arsenal, and perhaps, most notably, meticulously rebuilt and developed a serve that quickly became an incredibly potent, almost unreturnable weapon. A cornerstone of her aggressive play, her fitness levels soared dramatically, allowing her to endure grueling multi-hour matches under blistering conditions and consistently outlast even her toughest, most experienced opponents, turning physical endurance into a tactical advantage. She brilliantly adapted her tactics to different playing surface, from the lightning-fast grass of Wimbledon to the slow grinding clay of Roland Garros and the hard courts of the US Open, becoming a more complete, versatile, and unpredictable player, capable of competing and winning anywhere. Every single season brought new, often daunting challenges, new formidable opponents emerging, and new invaluable opportunities to test her unwavering resolve, pushing her to innovate and adapt. There were inevitably periods of struggle, competitive plateaus, moments where the wins didn't come as easily, where the subtle doubts might have crept in, whispering insidious thoughts of inadequacy. But through it all, her unwavering commitment to continuous improvement remained absolutely unshakable, a bedrock principle guiding her journey. She understood with remarkable clarity that true champions are never defined by never falling, but rather by how quickly, powerfully, and gracefully they rise after every single stumble, every setback, every disappointment. She learned to truly embrace the arduous grind, to cherish the smallest victories achieved in lonely practice sessions, and to implicitly trust her well-established process, even when the immediate tangible results weren't readily apparent, or the public clamored for instant gratification. Her entire journey during these formative years became an unparalleled masterclass. Unwavering perseverance, a vivid, compelling illustration of the long, arduous game required to achieve sustained transcendent excellence, transforming potential into undeniable prowess. The relentless carousel of the professional tour, initially exhilarating in its newness, eventually settled into a grueling, unforgiving rhythm. The initial shockwave of her Wimbledon debut had faded, replaced by the persistent, unblinking glare of a spotlight that never dimmed. The world hadn't just watched Coco Gauff explode onto the scene. It had placed an enormous, almost impossible weight of expectation squarely on her young shoulders. Every match wasn't just a match. It was a referendum, a test of whether the Prodigy could truly sustain the magic, whether the comet could remain a star. And the truth is, it wasn't always magic. There were days, too many days, when the joy felt like it was slipping through her fingers, when the sheer business asterisk of being Coco Gauff, the global tennis sensation, threatened to eclipse the pure, unadulterated love for hitting a ball. Imagine waking up in a different hotel room, in a different city, in a different country, almost every week. Imagine the constant hum of media requests, the endless stream of interviews, the mandatory appearances, the endorsements that bring financial security, but demand slices of your precious time and energy. It was a life lived in public, every practice session, a performance, every off-court moment, potentially scrutinized. The privacy she once knew, the simple anonymity of a regular teenager, was gone, replaced by a constant awareness of being watched, judged, analyzed. This relentless pace began to chip away at the edges, creating internal conflicts that were far more insidious than any opponent across the net. Was she still playing for the sheer love of it? Or was she now performing to meet an insatiable public demand? Was the fiery competitor still truly her, or was it a persona she now inhabited for the cameras? The cracks inevitably began to show. After the initial surge of her breakthrough, there were periods, not prolonged slumps, but palpable plateaus. Matches she was expected to win suddenly became grueling three-set marathons, or worse, unexpected, early exits. The headlines shifted from adulation to analysis, then to cautious questioning. Is the pressure getting to her? Is she just a flash in the pan? The whispers, once easy to dismiss, started to penetrate, creating a subtle, yet persistent hum of self-doubt. Every forehand error, every double fault, every missed opportunity felt magnified, not just because of the match implications, but because they seemed to validate the critics, to confirm the fleeting nature of fame. It was during these moments, often in the quiet solitude of hotel rooms or the empty court, after a tough loss, that her resilience was truly tested, not just the physical resilience to endure grueling rallies, but the mental fortitude to silence the noise, both external and internal, and rediscover her unwavering, found herself battling not just opponents, but the ghost of her own expectations. The shadow of her past triumphs, the carefree aggression of the 15-year-old, was sometimes replaced by a cautiousness, a fear of failure that could paralyze even the most talented players. This wasn't a sudden breakdown, but a slow, almost imperceptible erosion of confidence, born from the sheer weight of relentless expectation. She had to learn how to lose, not just gracefully, but constructively. How do you process a heartbreaking defeat on a grand stage, knowing millions witnessed it, and then show up the next week fresh, focused, and ready to fight again? It required an entirely new level of emotional regulation, a profound detachment from the outcome, and an even deeper commitment to the process. It was during one particularly challenging stretch, a period marked by a series of frustrating early-round losses and a palpable sense of exhaustion, that a pivotal moment of introspection occurred. She wasn't injured, her technique hadn't abandoned her, but the spark, the unbridled joy, seemed dulled. The mental fatigue was immense. It was less a career pivot and more a personal reckoning. She had to ask herself, why am I still doing this? What truly drives me? Her team, ever vigilant, noticed the subtle shift. They didn't push harder. They encouraged her to reconnect with the core reasons she fell in love with tennis in the first place. This meant deliberately stepping back, finding moments of normalcy amidst the chaos. It meant more time with family, more focus on her studies, which she diligently continued, and allowing herself moments of simple joy away from the demands of the court. It was a conscious effort to reclaim her private self, to replenish the wellspring of intrinsic motivation that fame had threatened to drain. This period of internal struggle paradoxically strengthened her voice beyond the court. Having grappled with the intense pressure and the feeling of being commodified, she found an even deeper resonance in her activism. She understood firsthand the crushing weight of societal expectations, the unfairness of judgment based on fleeting moments. Her advocacy for social justice, for equality, for mental health awareness among young athletes became not just a duty, but a personal imperative. It was a way to channel her own struggles into something meaningful, to connect with a purpose larger than herself. Using her platform became less about obligation and more about authentic expression, a powerful outlet that paradoxically alleviated some of the pressure on the court. It grounded her, reminding her that her value wasn't solely tied to wins and losses, but to the person she was becoming, the impact she could have. Her game too underwent subtle but significant transformations during this crucible. Recognizing the mental fatigue, she and her coaches focused intensely on strategic efficiency. It wasn't just about hitting harder, but hitting smarter. They deepened her tactical understanding, analyzing opponents with an almost surgical precision, identifying weaknesses, and developing game plans that conserved energy while maximizing impact. Her serve already weapon became even more consistent, her forehand more penetrating, her movement around the court more fluid and economical. This wasn't a radical overhaul, but a meticulous refinement, a fine-tuning born from experience and an honest assessment of what was needed to endure the relentless grind. She learned to embrace different facets of her game, becoming less reliant on raw power and more on cunning, variety, and an unshakable belief in her ability to problem-solve mid-match. This adaptation wasn't just about technique. It was a mental shift, a willingness to be uncomfortable, to constantly evolve. The resilience she had learned early on was no longer just a coping mechanism. It became an active force, a bedrock upon which she built her sustained success. She learned to compartmentalize, to leave the last point, the last game, the last match behind, and focus solely on the present. She learned the subtle art of emotional detachment, when needed, understanding that not every moment required peak emotional intensity, reserving her fiercest fire for when it truly mattered. She also learned the invaluable lesson of patience, patience with her own development, patience with the process, and patience in waiting for her opportunities. The narrative shifted from the next Serena to Coco Gauff, a champion in her own right, building her legacy brick by arduous brick. This middle phase of her journey, marked by immense pressure and profound self-discovery, wasn't just about winning matches. It was about defining herself, about finding an inner compass that would guide her through the storms of professional life, and proving that true greatness isn't born overnight, but forged in the fires of persistent struggle and unwavering self-belief. It was the refining fire, stripping away the inessential, leaving behind the pure, formidable core of a true champion. The refining fire, mentioned at the close of her earlier struggles, wasn't just a metaphor. It was a deeply personal, transformative crucible, forging Coco Gauff into the resilient force she was destined to become. This quiet period of intense introspection, where she peeled back layers of public expectation to reconnect with the raw, exhilarating why behind her relentless pursuit of tennis excellence, became the unshakable bedrock for her most profound ascent. Yet it was during these deliberate moments of stepping back away from the immediate clamor for results and the incessant external noise that the cautiousness, the subtle fear of disappointing those immense, almost impossible expectations, began to truly dissipate. She wasn't just shedding technical deficiencies. She was consciously shedding the suffocating burden of external validation, replacing it brick by painstaking brick, with an unshakable, fierce internal conviction that radiated from her very core. The subtle, yet profoundly impactful shifts in her game, meticulously honed through countless hours of focused, deliberate practice, began to manifest with startling clarity and devastating effect on the biggest, most hallowed stages of the sport. Her serve, once powerful, but occasionally prone to errant moments, now landed with almost surgical precision, transformed into a reliable, devastating first-strike weapon that set the tone for rallies. Her forehand, previously a source of occasional frustrating inconsistency, gained an astonishing new depth, consistency and penetrating power, effortlessly turning defense into aggressive attack with a newfound, almost fluid grace. And her movement, always exceptional in its athleticism, became even more economical, more fluid, conserving precious energy for the pivotal high-stakes moments that defined championship tennis. This wasn't merely about incremental technical improvements. It was a resounding testament to a newfound mental liberation, a player no longer constrained by the pre-written narratives others had woven for her, but one boldly writing her own compelling, authentic story. The undeniable culmination of this profound, multifaceted transformation wasn't a gradual, imperceptible fade into consistent top-tier performance. No, it was another explosive, unambiguous declaration to the entire world. A declaration born not of fleeting youthful exuberance, but of hardened seasoned resilience tempered by adversity. When Coco Gauff finally definitively lifted that coveted Grand Slam trophy, especially on home soil, the moment wasn't just a singular triumph of athletic prowess, though it certainly was that. It was a profound, deeply emotional testament to the quiet internal battles fiercely fought, the insidious doubts courageously conquered, and the unwavering, almost spiritual belief in a painstaking process, often misunderstood by those outside her tight-knit, fiercely loyal inner circle. It wasn't merely the prodigious teenager winning a major title, fulfilling early prophecies. It was unequivocally the asterisk champion she had painstakingly forged through grit, determination, and profound self-discovery, emerging victorious, undeniable, and utterly magnificent. The raw, unfiltered tears that streamed down her face were not just tears of unadulterated joy for the victory, for the external validation. They were perhaps more profoundly tears of immense relief and deep abiding validation for the arduous, often lonely journey itself. The relentless grind, the solitary hours spent perfecting her craft, the agonizing moments of self-doubt that had been silently overcome, replaced by an inner peace. This victory transcended the tangible trophy. It was a living, breathing symbol of her profound reinvention, a public, undeniable affirmation that she had not only bravely weathered the most ferocious storms, but had emerged from them stronger, clearer in her purpose, and more resolute than ever before. The narrative surrounding her shifted, dramatically, unequivocally. The next Serena comparisons, while still occasionally whispered in homage, were now powerfully overlaid with a new, distinct, and individual recognition. She was unequivocally Coco Gauff, a unique, formidable force shaping her own destiny, charting her own unparalleled course. The public, which had initially viewed her through the captivating, yet often limiting lens of a youthful novelty, now collectively beheld a mature, articulate, and fiercely determined athlete, whose entire journey was in itself an unparalleled masterclass in unwavering perseverance and profound growth. Her authenticity, which had always shone through with remarkable clarity, now resonated with even greater depth and emotional power, as people truly understood the immense, often invisible pressures she had courageously navigated to reach this glorious pinnacle, this new elevated level of accomplishment. Rather than adding to her already immense burden of pressure, surprisingly, ushered, in a profound, almost spiritual sense of inner peace and equilibrium, she had achieved precisely what many had predicted for her. Yes, but crucially, she had achieved it on her asterisk terms through her meticulously crafted process, and most importantly guided solely by her intrinsic unyielding motivation. This deeply personal triumph allowed her to fully step into her evolving role as a compelling voice for change, with even greater conviction and unwavering authority. Her increasingly vocal and impactful advocacy for social justice, for crucial mental health awareness among young athletes, for profound equality, and for greater diversity in sports no longer felt like an added separate responsibility, but became an integral, seamless part of her very identity, a natural, organic extension of her deeply held core values. She spoke not with rehearsed statements, but with a calm, assured authority, an authority born directly from her own deeply lived experience, transforming her intensely personal struggles into universal, relatable lessons for millions. When she spoke passionately about the vital importance of self-belief, it wasn't a hollow platitude. It was a hard-won, undeniable truth forged in the crucible of self-doubt. When she fiercely championed the power of resilience, it was because she had walked through the refining fire herself, emerged on the other side, and understood its transformative power. This beautiful, powerful symbiosis between her undeniable on-court achievements and her profound off-court impact indelibly solidified her legacy far beyond mere statistics and win-loss records. She wasn't merely breaking records on the court. she was powerfully breaking down societal barriers, inspiring an entire generation to not just chase their wildest dreams, but to courageously stand up for what they profoundly believed in to define true success, not merely by external accolades and glittering trophies, but by internal integrity, unwavering moral compass, and a clear, unwavering sense of purpose. Her continued magnificent transformation was vividly evident not just in her improved dominant performance, but even more strikingly, her composed, serene demeanor on court. There was a palpable, quiet intensity, a deep, focused calm that had replaced any lingering hints of adolescent frustration or overt anxiety. She had truly learned to embrace the dynamic ebb and flow of brutal matches, the inevitable, often frustrating setbacks within a grueling tournament. A missed shot no longer lingered in her mind, causing mental paralysis. It was immediately instinctively dismissed, replaced by an unwavering laser-like focus on the very next point, the next opportunity to seize control. This profound emotional mastery was arguably her greatest, most potent weapon, allowing her to play with a newfound freedom, a liberating expressiveness that had previously been subtly overshadowed by the crushing weight of external expectation. She rediscovered and then amplified her joy in the intricate complexities of strategy, in the relentless physical demands of elite competition, and in the sheer unadulterated artistry of hitting a perfect, unreturnable shot. The game, which had momentarily felt like an overwhelming burden, was now unequivocally her sanctuary, her vibrant canvas for self-expression, her ultimate proving ground. This renewed sense of purpose and profound joy, deeply rooted in self-acceptance and in crystal-clear understanding of her intrinsic values, made her not just an incredibly formidable opponent but an overwhelmingly compelling presence, a player whose remarkable journey resonated deeply and authentically with audiences worldwide. She became a living, breathing embodiment of the timeless idea that true, enduring success isn't about miraculously avoiding falls, but profoundly about possessing the inner strength, the unwavering will, and the boundless grace to rise again and again, each time with more hard-earned wisdom, more profound clarity, and an even deeper sense of purpose. Her story, poised on the exciting cusp of its next powerful act, vividly illustrates that the ultimate, most meaningful triumph is often found not just in reaching the dizzying summit of one's aspirations, but in the profound self-discovery, the radical reinvention, and the relentless transformation that occurs on the arduous, challenging path to get there. It proves unequivocally that legacies are meticulously built not just on a collection of victories and glittering trophies, but on an unshakable foundation of character, immense courage, unwavering authenticity, and a steadfast, almost spiritual commitment to being authentically oneself, truly, deeply, and unequivocally. No matter the blinding intensity of the spotlight, she stands now in this moment as a powerful, resonant testament to the indisputable fact that while the world may initially love a prodigy for their raw, untapped potential, it truly cherishes a champion who not only transforms through the refining fires of adversity, but courageously redefines their very purpose and selflessly uses their powerful platform to elevate not just themselves, but to inspire, uplift, and empower all those who look to them for guidance, for hope, and for true inspiration. Her remarkable journey continues, a vibrant, ever-unfolding tapestry of evolving greatness, setting a new, higher, and more authentic standard for what it genuinely means to be a champion in the complex, ever-demanding 21st century. The tapestry of Coco Gauff's remarkable journey, far from complete, continues to intricately weave itself, each powerful stroke, each courageous step, adding a new thread to an evolving narrative that redefines what it genuinely means to be a champion in the complex, ever-demanding 21st century. The Prodigy, who once burst onto the scene a blinding flash of raw talent, has now blossomed into a formidable force, not just defined by the glittering trophies she lifts, but by the profound resilience she embodies, the unwavering authenticity she radiates, and the deep, resonant purpose that now clearly guides her every action. Her path has been a masterclass in transformation, a testament to the fact that true greatness is not merely discovered, but meticulously forged in the crucible of relentless pressure and profound self-discovery. We've witnessed a young girl thrust into an adult world navigate the dizzying heights of global fame with a maturity far beyond her years, learning not just to survive the spotlight, but to thrive within its intense glare, turning every challenge into an opportunity for deeper understanding and exponential growth. The journey from initial shockwave to sustained excellence, from the burden of expectation to the liberation of self-acceptance has been long and arduous, marked by unseen battles and quiet victories. It is in these nuanced spaces between the triumphant roars of the crowd and the solitary moments of reflection that the true essence of her becoming has unfolded. She has taught us with every deliberate choice that the most potent weapon an athlete possesses is not merely a powerful serve or a thunderous forehand, but an unyielding inner compass of fierce commitment to one's own values and the courage to remain authentically oneself, even when the world demands conformity. Her transformation transcends the technical refinement of her game, moving beyond the tactical brilliance of a perfected groundstroke or a precise net approach. It speaks to a deeper, more profound metamorphosis of character, the cautiousness that sometimes crept in born of the immense pressure to meet external expectations has been replaced by a liberating expressiveness, a joy in the sheer artistry of her sport that is palpable to behold. She now plays with a freedom that only comes from having battled the shadows of doubt and emerged victorious, possessing an unshakable belief in her process, her training, and most importantly in herself. This isn't the youthful exuberance of a prodigy anymore. It's the quiet, potent confidence of a seasoned warrior who has walked through fire and understood its purifying nature. Wellspring of satisfaction in the continuous process of becoming, in the relentless pursuit of her highest self. What enduring truths then emerge from this extraordinary saga? We learn that the concept of a prodigy is merely the opening chapter, a glimpse of raw potential that must be tempered, refined, and consistently nurtured to achieve lasting greatness. We learn that true success is less about avoiding falls and more about the power of the rise, the unwavering will to get back up, dust yourself off, and face the next challenge with renewed vigor and wisdom. We learn that pressure, while daunting, can be the very crucible in which inner strength is forged, transforming daunting obstacles into stepping stones for profound growth. Most profoundly, we learn that authenticity, a fierce commitment to one's own values, and the courage to use your voice for a purpose larger than yourself, are as critically important, if not more so, than any physical gift or athletic prowess. Coco Gauff's journey is a living, breathing testament to the profound truth that the most captivating stories are often found not just in the glittering victories, but in the unseen battles fought in solitude, the quiet moments of unyielding dedication, and the unwavering spirit of those who dare to courageously chase their dreams against all odds, defying every expectation and redefining what is truly possible. Her legacy is not merely etched in championship trophies and record books. It is etched in the hearts and minds of countless individuals. She has inspired a beacon of hope and possibility for all those who strive to transcend limitations, embrace their true selves, and leave an indelible mark on the world, proving that a true champion inspires far beyond the field of play, shaping the future with every powerful, purposeful stride. She is and will continue to be a magnificent, ever-evolving force, a true exemplar of human potential, realized through grit, grace, and an unshakable belief in the journey itself. What part of Coco Gauff's incredible journey resonates most with you? Share your thoughts below and join the conversation.